Imagine telling someone that the way their hair naturally grows out of their head is unprofessional. Sounds ridiculous, right? But for millions of black people around the world, that's a reality that they've had to navigate for generations. Whether it's schools banning locks, workplace discouraging afros, or the constant pressure to wear wigs and straighten their hair, natural black hair has long been treated as something that needs to be changed. But here's the question: why?
I used to scale fence back in university just to write exam because of my hair. Because I don't understand the obsession this university have with cutting your hair. How does my physical appearance, what does it have to do with what's inside my hair? I can understand if it's secondary school or if it's a private normal federal university, waiting concern you with my hair. And they don't even know the repercussion of what they are doing because they are taking away your golden years. You see this hair as men, you don't go deal with you forever. 25, 24 gone, you don't need recede, you don't need bowed. Different types of baldness, either your hairline or the middle or pattern or spot. Just grow your hair as much as possible. I never really understand.
Why is tightly curled hair still being seen as less acceptable than straight hair?
And there's this whole battle, natural hair versus wigs or weaves. What's your take on it?
Your natural hair is good for church programs. Your natural hair is good for when you want to pick your kids at school. Don't bring your natural hair to my event. I have natural hair, but I'm wearing a wig. But I don't have to. I can wear my natural hair if I want to go out. If I'm going to the beach, and I can wear my natural hair. It's good for the beach. If I'm going to church, it's okay. Do you get what I'm saying? If I'm going to pick maybe going to play with my niece, it's cool. If I'm in my house, it's okay. But why would I want to wear a nice ass dress, expensive dress, expensive heels? At least I'll do ponytail. At least.
Were these ideas always part of our culture, or were they taught to us over time?
I'm seeing all the little middle school girls outside with wigs on their hair. And let me tell y'all this, that's what it started. My damage started right when I was in middle school. I was putting all this weave, I was putting perms in my hair. And yeah, my mama, she was that girl. She allowed me to be who I was. And she also allowed me to express myself while doing my hair.
In today's video, I want to explore where these beauty standards came from, how they continue to affect us today, and why the conversation around natural hair is about much more than just hairstyles. Hello guys, my name is Denise D, and the D in my name stands for detective because I go on the internet and I search for things that you might have a question about, and I bring it here so we can discuss about it together. So yeah, besties, grab your popcorn or whatever you like eating, and let's get into today's episode. Chapter 1: Before colonization and the transatlantic slave trade. Before hair became political,
High school in South Africa is an assembly and all the girls are sat in uniform, heads clean shaven.
before school started banning locks, before workplaces called Afro unprofessional, before little black girls grew up believing they needed straight hair to look beautiful.
I've had 3 or 4 girls, like ranging from the ages of 12, preteen, 12 to 17, tell me if I don't have a bust down on, I don't feel pretty. That's a problem.
Hair meant something completely different. In many African society, it was about the culture, identity, and communication. A person's hairstyle could reflect their age, their community, their marital status, their social role, or even important moments in their life. Hairstyles were often carefully created, passed down from generations, and carried deep cultural meaning. Grooming hair wasn't only about the appearance, it could also be a social experience, a time for conversation, storytelling, and connection between family members and communities. Different regions developed their own distinctive hairstyles, using braids, twists, curls, beads, threads, and different ornaments. There wasn't one African hairstyle. There were countless traditions, each reflecting the creativity and identity of the people who wore them. Hair was something to celebrate and wasn't something people expected to hide. It wasn't considered messy simply because it grew upward instead of downward. It wasn't seen as something that needed to be fixed before a person could be considered respectable. So that raises the question: if natural hair once carried so much pride and cultural meaning, how did it become something that so many people now feel pressured to change? To answer that, we have to look at one of the darkest periods in history, chapter 2. How European beauty standards and slavery influenced idea about black hair. During the transatlantic trade, millions of Africans were violently taken from their homes and forced into slavery. Historians have documented that many enslaved Africans had their hair cut short after capture. And this wasn't about being hygienic or anything. Cutting someone's hair could strip away an important part of someone's identity, culture, dignity, and humanity.
Have you ever wondered why enslaved Africans on these ships were always bald? The system would like for you to just assume that Africans just inherently have no hair, but that's not true at all. During the transatlantic slave trade, when slave catchers were transporting the enslaved Africans onto boats, they shaved their heads. And their heads weren't shaven for some sanitary reason, because as we know, the colonizers brought over every single mutation of every single disease possible and infected the entire earth with it. Their heads were shaven because in pre-transatlantic slave trade history, our history before the chains, how you wore your hair in many African societies was a system of communication in itself. Your hairstyle could tell anybody off the street your rank, your religion, your class, your marital status, your geographic location, your ethnicity, etc. Our hair had so many spiritual and cultural implications. The colonizers were well aware of these implications because before actual chattel slavery happened, Europeans were in Africa. Europeans were in Africa trading, exploring, and while they were in Africa, they would write literature, write books, and send communications back home about where they were with, who they were with, and what they were experiencing. So deliberately shaving enslaved Africans' heads before you put them on a boat, taking them away from everything they've known to a place that they've never been, was another act of dehumanization and to separate them from who they were so they could rebuild the new identity. They knew exactly what they were doing by shaving their heads. And it just makes me think about how the practice of utilizing hair as punishment is still very prevalent in continental Africa and in the diaspora.
The hair that once reflected family, community, and tradition suddenly lost the space to carry these meanings. But the story doesn't end there. As European society held political, economic, and social power in many parts of the world, their beauty standards also seeped its way into our culture. Straight hair, lighter skin, and European facial features were increasingly presented as the ideal expectation in many institutions.
Don't you love a dude that always bounces back?
Surfing's a tie. But Raquel, you get the prize for wackiest hair.
Welcome. What hairstyle would you like?
I'd like an afro. Thank you. This is exactly what I wanted.
A catastrophe.
What happened to my hair? Normally it's straight. I was just walking down the hall when poof, my whole head of hair puffed up just like that.
What is that?
It wasn't just a beauty preference. It was a factor that affected Black people's opportunities. In many places, looking closer to those standards could influence how someone was treated at school, work, or in public.
I'm beginning to think of my school is racist because I was kicked out for having an afro. I was kicked out of school for having an afro, guys. That is so racist right now, like.
Over time, many Black people started morphing themselves into this reality. The constant question like, should they wear their hair naturally and risk being judged? Or should they change it to fit the expectations around them made Black people adapt to this new reality? Not because they were rejecting who they are, but because, in some cases, they needed it to survive, or find employment, or even avoiding discrimination. And those choices shaped what is considered professional, presentable, or quote-unquote beautiful.
Approved! Approved! I don't know. Excellent argument. Approved!
In today's society, it is important to remember that even after slavery ended, those beauty standards didn't disappear overnight, no. Instead, many of them continued through schools, workplaces, advertisements, films, and magazines. Little by little, the idea of what good hair is supposed to look like started to change in many societies. And sadly, those ideas hasn't fully left us today.
Growing up in Nigeria, they made me shave my hair to the skin. It was required by my school. All the girls in my school, shave your head to your skin, bald, because it was bushy, unkempt, and disgusting. Babes, we all had the same type of hair.
Chapter 3. Why didn't these standards fade after the colonization? Although slavery and colonization ended across the world, but their impact and effect on us didn't disappear just like that. And the sad part is, ideas can survive long after the event that created them has ended. And it gets passed down from generations to generations. Because for decades, the faces presented as beautiful, successful, and professional were people with straighter hair that fits the European beauty standards. This wasn't because black people didn't exist. The truth is, they were often underrepresented or expected to change their appearance to fit in. In many schools in Africa, black children have been told that afros, braids, locks violated dress code.
I don't know how my hair affects my education. I don't know what that has to do with school. See, in my school here, they don't accept that hair. See my hair, I can't carry like this like that. That's why I'm always tying scarf like as if I'm a Muslim. See, Nigerian schools need to do better. I don't know what this policy is. Nobody should explain this thing to me because I don't know how you're telling me to cover my hair because I'm writing an exam. I should cut my braids. The attachment is long and it's colored. It doesn't make sense to me.
And the hair grooming culture has been narrowed down to shaving of the hair. Like literally, in many secondary schools, a lot of girls, boys have been told to shave their hair.
If you walked through a village in many parts of the continent, you might find a sea of heads that all look the same, regardless of gender. If you ask people, like I did as a kid in Uganda, why they shave their children's hair, they'll probably tell you that when it's long, it's too difficult, too untidy, too unmanageable, even though we've known how to manage our hair for thousands of years. So why do we keep telling ourselves this? It all goes back to missionaries. When Europeans landed in Africa, spreading hate, violence, and the Bible, they decided that our hair was unsightly and ungodly. They also saw long, styled hair as a sign of womanhood and sexualized the way it grows out of our heads, using it to control and oppress women in particular. When missionaries started their Christian education system, the rules mandated that all girls shave their heads to the scalp. To this end, cultural hairstyles were banned or criminalized in most schools and churches. Today, many schools across Central Africa still apply this rule. It's true that styling any hair texture takes a certain amount of time and money for products, which can be in short supply. But for many Africans, the choice to shave is less about convenience than they think. So next time you hear someone call our hair difficult or unmanageable, remember who put those words in our mouths.
It always passed the message that black hair wasn't welcomed. And when many people grew up hearing that their hair was distractive, inappropriate, or less acceptable, those ideas start feeling like reality. Over time, black people started palming, straightening, relaxing, wearing wigs and weaves just to avoid judgment. And some did so because they simply grew up believing that straight hair looks more polished and rewarded than their own natural hair. Because when I was young, I always thought that the straight hair was like the best thing ever. In fact, I always thought that everyone had coily hair. To be honest, I thought white people had coily hair that they also used to relax their hair to straighten it. So I was like wanted to relax my hair too, like, and every time I relax my hair, I always see that my hair is not as straight as this white people hair. Why? What type of relaxer? In fact, I always thought that maybe the relaxer they were using is trash here, that maybe they are using the best relaxer, because my hair never seemed to look like that even after I straightened it with relaxers. It always still has this kinky texture and it looked very lifeless. And I feel like this is the reality of every black girl. I mean, these reasons are not the same case for everyone though. Some people straighten their hair because they like the look or because it was just easier to manage. But altogether, they raise the same question. If our choices are shaped by social pressure, how free are those choices really? I mean, we did not choose it. And perhaps that's why the conversation around natural hair still persists today. A lot of people are still raising the question, why does it even matter? Why do we have to change the way we look? Why is our hair not being seen a lot? Chapter 4. The effect that we still live by. The beauty standards shaped over generations continue to affect millions of black people today. Not only in how society sees them, but how a lot of black people see themselves. Some of the most noticeable example is the belief that we need to change our hair texture and appearance in order to be acceptable. An example is this post I saw on Reddit, where a lady was asking for people's advice because her mother says that her natural hair is not good enough for a workplace. And it is very important to note that this doesn't only affect women. Yes, it also affects black men.
Before I even got locks myself, I did like my research into it because I wanted to grow it as a form of expression, especially always being told no. Certain things are, if you want to do this, if you want to be successful, you have to cut your hair. The kind of person I am, I kind of like, nah, well, I'm just going to do it anyway. So, because at the time, dreadlocks, like...
I hate that term as well.
Yeah, it was only negative. The late 19th century, I think the British were fighting the Kenyan warriors and the locks were seen as inspiring fear in the white beholder. They were looking at that and they coined the term dreadful locks, and then it became dreadlocks. Any connotation with dreadlocks before, because dreadlocks have been around for time, like the Aztecs, a lot of the time, I'm sounding like it's another history lesson.
I know what you're talking about. Like,
yeah,
locks have been around. There's even when you look at a lot of the Egyptian sculptures and the stuff in the pyramids, you do see that a lot of people in ancient times had locks.
Yeah, and that's the
been around since the beginning of the time. It's natural. It's your hair growing out and just weaving together naturally. You know, I've got family members that naturally have locks grow out of their head. You know, that's very common. I see that a lot. So how did it become demonized?
Around Black communities, there have been cases where students were suspended because of their hairstyles. Employees were asked to cut their locks or wear a wig to look professional. High school students have been told to shave their hair before they can even receive any form of education. I can't speak for anyone, but I can speak for myself. When I was still in secondary school, I shaved my hair because I needed to receive lecture. It was a compulsory act. And at my workplace, I've had people mention it to me that, why can't you, wear a wig? Why are you having your hair out, locks? Wear a wig to look more professional. Although they didn't make it very known, they just said it like stylishly that you should wear a wig, change it to look more presentable. Really. In my university days, college days, a lot of hairstyles were not appropriate. If you had your afro out, you could be sent back home during exams, because that was the case I saw for a lady in TikTok, where they told her that she had to go back home or braid her hair before she could write her examination that day. Crazy, right? And the funniest is that same energy is not given to wigs. I've never heard it where they say, take off that your wig. It's not appropriate during examinations. I've seen many girls with big wigs, like those big coily wigs, and they've never been an issue with it.
Because while I was in Nigeria at my grandma's funeral, after I finished my speech saying I love my grandma and everything, the pastor wants to then say, oh, look at this guy and his long hair. Is he a girl?
This is a very sensitive topic to me, because I remember my dad died. We were doing the wakekeeping in the church that year now. About everybody was there, my family, my friends, people I've not seen a long time, my dad's friends, people in high places were there. They were talking about my whole dad, they've done the whole speech and everything. And the reverend father or the pastor left the whole conversation and started talking about me and my hair. My hair was not this long at the time. My hair was short. I had like free forms. My hair was anyhow. My hair was bad. It was a mess. Yes, I understand. He now started talking about how, I hope sarcastically, I hope when you go to the village, I'll keep your hair. Then that's not even what pissed me off. That's not what annoyed me yet. I mean, I was already annoyed, but what annoyed me was that later on I found out that while he was talking, this stupid cameraman, videographer, was zooming into my hair when he.
He's zooming on your hair. Hey, this cameraman are idiots, guys.
And these actions sends a clear message. Natural hair is still judged differently. These effects aren't only social, no, they are also physical, because years of chemically straightened hair, tight braids, and poor hair care damages the hair shaft, and in some cases contributes to scalp irritation, hair breakage. Tight hairstyles worn repeatedly increases the risk of traction alopecia. And then don't mention tight hairstyles. Let's talk about the frontals. They damage the front of our hair. Like, a lot of people have baldness, like alopecia, because of constant frontal installations.
TikTok, pray for me. My edges are gone. My edges are gone. Wig blindness. Edge blindness is real. I've been wearing wigs for the past 8 months and a half. Wig after wig after wig.
Because of the gradual fade of good hair growing practice, a lot of people grew up without learning how to take care of their own natural hair. And I feel like this is also a common thing in Black households. I grew up not knowing what I should do in my hair. I didn't know how to wash it. I did not know how to probably take care of it. I mean, I might just wash my hair anytime I take it down and just put shampoo, conditioner, not even special shampoo and conditioner, the one with sulfur in it. And I used to wash my hair is getting damaged. Well, my hair wasn't relaxed anyway. Let me say, whenever I'm about to relax my hair, that's when my hair care is happening. And then when I just became natural, everything was so different. Like I started learning things on my own.
Whenever I step out in the UK, I see women of all races wearing their natural hair, except women who look like me, black women. Even when other women of other races wear wigs, the wigs resemble their natural hair. They are not trying to wear an afro hair. The only women trying to emulate the hair of other races, striving to make it 3D and HD, are women who look like me. Gradually, I started hating wigs. I began feeling inferior in wigs. Why should I work so hard, invest a lot of money on hair that others grow naturally? How can I make that my own beauty standard? The funny thing is, the few times I go out with my natural hair, I receive compliments from the very people I am trying so hard to emulate. Oh, your hair is so beautiful. I'll say thank you. They even want to touch it, and I don't mind. I tell them, touch it if you want. I'm curious about yours too. Gradually, I decided to wear my natural hair more often. I have begun to appreciate my hair. I have begun to value my hair. This is what I've been given. Why not love it? I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. I'm beginning to see the beauty in my hair. I know it requires a lot of time and effort, and I'm gradually making that commitment. I look so beautiful in my natural hair.
And instead of understanding moisture, protective styling, or gentle detangling, they instead learn how to maintain wigs or chemically treated hair, because those hairstyles became the norm in their reality. And as a result, some people see their natural hair as difficult. And this isn't because natural hair is difficult, but because they were never taught how to properly care for their hair. This has also created opportunities for an industry that profits off black people's insecurity. The global market for wigs, relaxers, extensions, and other hair products is worth billions of dollars for a reason. And that's because making money off our insecurity is very profitable. Look at the plastic surgery industry, for example. Using these hair products isn't even the problem. The problem is when people feel they need to be considered beautiful, professional, or acceptable over our own natural hair. The problem has never been the existence of wigs. Let's reference natural looking wigs, for example. Comparing it to the wigs of other hair textures. After looking at the consumption rates of those other textures, you see the problem. It's not the wig, it's the hair texture. Chapter 5. We can't keep blaming history. History explains where many beauty standards came from and how it affected us, but history doesn't explain why they still exist. At some point, we have to be honest with ourselves. Today, many of the people enforcing these beauty standards aren't the Europeans. They are us, yes. Our schools, our workplaces, family, friends, and our own community.
This young girl decides to wear her natural hair, no makeup, no nails, to prom. Being a black girl or a black woman is already hard enough because the whole world hates you. But it's even worse being a black girl or a black woman because it's always your own kind that's going to tear you down as well. We live in such a colorist, texturist, and featureless world as it is. And this young lady was brave enough to wear her natural hair, no makeup, no nails, to prom at a special occasion at that, which most black women can never think of doing. And you have the nerve to ask her where's her bust down? And these are other black women saying that her hair is not done. And here's a black woman saying that she could wear her hair in a natural hairstyle as if her natural puff wasn't a hairstyle as it is. Another black woman. And I'ma just call a spade a spade. The bust down is on your head, temporarily. Because once you take that wig off, I guarantee you your hair will look exactly like hers. So to every last black woman and black man that was in her comments being condescending to this beautiful young lady, get you some therapy, because it's very clear that the wigs are not hiding y'all insecurities enough.
Growing up in Nigeria, I wasn't constantly being told by white people that my natural hair wasn't good enough. No. I was hearing those messages from other black people like myself.
Some of the most backwards rhetoric that I've heard within my own community is people accusing you or me of trying to be closer to whiteness or whitewashed, literally being called whitewashed for wearing my natural hair. And it's always coming from people who I've never seen their natural texture ever. Their hair is always straight, manipulated in some kind of way, right? But how does that make sense? Where did that come from? Like, I don't know what that's about, but it's so weird.
I have locks like I do. Oh my god. The judgment often becomes even stronger. Because for some reason, people assume you are dirty. Some even associate locks with criminality or spiritual practice.
want to ask, can women plait Bob Marley, as in with the natural hair, plaiting Bob Marley?
Bob Marley hair is dreadlocks, long one. That is just similar to the twisting. When you braid your natural hair, at the end, is it not how they do it? There's nothing wrong with that one. Then the other one is twisting. That is what that is talking, because there's no difference. If you have a short hair and you twist it, it look like dreadlocks. And look like all that is like one person.
Very soon, the church will start telling us what panties to wear, whether we should wear pads or not. Just tell me, what does somebody's hair have to do with anything right now? This is an example of the fact that your ancestors, things that your ancestors did were demonized. Your culture was demonized. Dreadlocks. Locks are part of African culture. Locks are part of African culture. Everywhere in Africa, locks are part of the culture. Colonizers came here and told people that, oh, this your hair is dirty. They demonized it. So everybody now thinks that, oh, keeping dreadlocks is bad.
This assumption doesn't come from nowhere. They came from stereotypes that we continue to repeat, and somewhere along the line we created this new hierarchy. Like, it wasn't enough to simply have hair anymore. Now you needed the right wig.
And now she's someone that's your type?
Not so much. Yeah.
Why not?
I'll say more so like the hair. So more so attracted to longer hair. Yeah.
Fair enough.
The expensive wig, the Bond Street, or the latest style to be considered the it girl. Because suddenly wearing your natural hair meant people assumed you couldn't afford better. People started using words like classy, presentable, as if those qualities could only be achieved by hiding the hair that naturally grows from our heads.
Now that I have my wig on, I'm going to talk about the girlies on here who have been trying to insinuate that black women hate their hair because they constantly wear wigs and take care of said wigs a little bit more than their hair. First of all, hair is a big accessory for black people. You trying to force a black person to consistently wear an afro is you trying to make them act white. It's only white people that are consistently in their hair texture from the start of their life to the finish. Even Asians experiment with their hair a lot. So it's like, I know for a fact black people experiment with their hair the most. And I want to have pink hair today, straight black hair next week, curly wavy, curls, afro. I want to do it all. This is one life, and you're not going to tell me what to do with my hair so I can prove to you that I have racial pride. Like, it's so dumb.
Whoever decided that? And more importantly, why did we accept it? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with wearing a wig again. I'm not saying that. Or enjoying a different hairstyle. But the issue is, why are we shaming people who choose not to? Hey baby, 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 baby. See my baby. Say hello. Baby, baby. Baby. Baby, baby. It is also important to think about the industries behind these products we consume. Woman hair as a global business with worth billions of dollars. In some parts of the world, people sell their hair because they need the money. All the companies and retailers further help the supply chains may seem to earn more from the initial sellers.
This is Lynn. She's a Vietnamese girl who is selling her hair to help pay for her school tuition. Guess how much she's going to get for that beautiful 14-inch bundle? If you guessed any more than $3, then you're wrong. The sad thing is, Lynn is just one of the many victims of the completely unregulated hair trade. To make extensions cheap enough for the masses, hair scouters roam the streets of places like Vietnam, India, and China, bargaining with underprivileged women. Now that you know the truth about where virgin hair comes from, would you still go to the salon and pay them hundreds of dollars for extensions?
At the same time, research continues to study the health effects of some chemical hair products, including relaxers, posing health risks like hair damage, traction alopecia from certain styling practices. None of this means wigs are bad. It just means we should ask ourselves whether we are making choices freely or because we've been taught that our natural hair isn't enough. Now, history gave us many of these beauty standards, but today we have to decide whether they stay or they leave. Because every time we tell a black girl that she needs extension to feel beautiful, or every time we tell a black man to cut off his hair because he looks irresponsible, or when we constantly say that our hair is unprofessional, we transfer these beliefs from one generation to another. And if we want a change, the change has to start with us.
To you, this might be a hot mess, but for me, this is beautiful. Because my black is beautiful, my black hair is beautiful, and this is the way I wake up. This is my natural texture. I don't need to always be manipulating it all the time. I could rock this and feel absolutely fine. Trust and believe that. And you guys should feel that way too. I want everybody to embrace their natural texture and just like enjoy it because it's what comes out of your head. Like,
You don't need people to make you feel bad for not having hair that's like flowing down your back. Like our hair grows up, our hair grows out, our hair is big. And that is what I want everybody to leave here with today.
Because the most powerful way to stop a cycle is not just by understanding where it came from, but to stop repeating it. The truth is, freedom isn't by replacing one beauty standard with another. It's creating a world where a woman wearing an afro is seen just as beautiful as a woman wearing a wig. Where a man with an afro or locks isn't judged by his appearance, and where children grow up seeing that their hair is something celebrated instead of something to hide or fix.